honey, are you there? I need to talk to you about something when you get a chance. I was just thinking, would you mind divorcing Rick for me? Sorry, what is all this about? Who are you? I don't even have this number saved in my phone. What are you even talking about? My name is Helen. I'm sure you can figure out who I am just from that, though. I'm assuming that you're Helen as in Rick's ex-wife, Helen? And just why are you sending me messages like this out of the blue? Ding, ding, ding! Oh, he really can pick them smart, can he? But the thing is that I've already decided to get back with Rick. But before that can happen, I need you and him to get a divorce so that we can get married again. I see. So basically you want me out of the picture so that you can try and get back with your ex-husband. Right again! Aren't you such a clever girl? So you'll divorce him for me then, right? I can tell that you have this plan in your head, but no, absolutely not. Heck, I don't even know if you actually are Rick's ex-wife. You could just be totally lying to me. What? Don't you believe me? What would I have to gain telling you a silly little lie like that? Well, think about it. Did you really expect to just be able to message me this stuff, have me say, okay, sure, I'll divorce him, and be done with it? Besides, Rick told me the whole reason you two split up in the first place was because you cheated on him so many times. Have you talked to Rick about this at all? Does he feel the same way about you as you do him? Oh, I see what you're saying. You really do seem to be a lot more cleverer than I gave you credit for. But I'm afraid that there are many things about your husband that you still don't know. Well, has anything I've said so far been wrong? Because if not, then I have no idea where you're coming up with the thought that he would ever in a million years want to get married to you again. Here's the thing about Rick. Maybe it was just because he knew that he could never do better than me, but he actually never wanted to get divorced in spite of all my affairs. The truth is, it was his parents that made him leave me. They're both really strict people who care about their family image a lot. I guess they were worried about what kind of effect staying with me would have on them. They told Rick that he needed to leave me right away and squeeze as much alimony from me as he could in the process. Yeah, that makes sense. That's probably what I would do too. But actually, it was right around the time that I started seeing a really wealthy CEO. We were even talking about marriage while I was still with Rick. So by the time we were getting our divorce, it was perfect because I'd already found another man who could give me much more than Rick ever could. I see. I still have a lot of questions that I wanted to ask, but honestly, you more or less confirmed a lot for me right there. What are you talking about? Well, okay then, I guess I'll ask one more thing. You and Rick got divorced around 6 years ago now, right? That's right. Who knows, it might even be a little longer since then, actually. And the only reason you divorced him, according to you, is because you found someone who made more money than him. So then why, 6 years later, are you trying to get back with him? Well, that should be obvious, shouldn't it? Rick is rich now. He is. You mean in, like, life experience? Oh, please, don't play dumb with me. I already know all about it. I already knew that Rick's father started up his own business about 5 years ago, and that it was a big success. I also know that about a year ago, he got sick and had to step down as CEO. So for a bit over a year now, Rick has been running his father's company and has been super wealthy. Oh, I see. And I still don't see the point that you're trying to make here. And I'm gonna marry him again now that he's a CEO. Back then he might have been just another lowly office drone, but now he's a rich and powerful owner of a company. I can't wait to be living a life with that kind of money behind me. I mean, that's really what happened, right? Okay, so then just to confirm, you divorced and are now seeking to remarry Rick, all because of how much money he makes. I don't care how you try and twist my words. The fact is that Rick is and always has been mine. And now that I've decided it's time for me to take him back, I need you out of the way, understand? Don't worry, I'm sure you can get plenty money out of Rick in the divorce, so just go and divorce him already. Hey, Ronnie, are you there? It has been a little while since we last spoke. I wanted to see how things were going along on your end. Have you gotten the divorce yet? How long are you going to keep me waiting? I assume you checked in with Rick about it, right? So it should be all over now? I don't know why you're making this more difficult than it ought to be.
Hey there, Helen. Yes, I asked Rick. He admitted to seeing you behind my back.
Yes, see? I told you. So you two are getting a divorce then?
Well, unfortunately, it isn't quite that simple. There are a lot of complicated issues that we have to settle first before we can begin to start getting divorced in earnest.
What do you mean by that? And you better not give me any kind of lame excuse. I don't want you to keep me waiting any longer than strictly necessary.
I mean that Rick and I getting a divorce would have an impact on the company, and so we're figuring that out first. We even went to Rick's father and asked for his input into the situation.
Ooh, okay. So that's what's taking you guys so long then. I knew this would end up being a massive pain. Can you just hurry up at least?
Oh yes, I'm really so sorry that this whole thing of me getting a divorce isn't going as smoothly as you wanted it to. There's just so much to untangle before we can divorce, so you'll just have to wait.
Oh, by the way, that reminds me, you two do actually work at the same company, right?
Now who's a clever girl? I did just say that. Though I'm not sure the picture you have in your head is as accurate as you'd like it to be.
You know, Ronnie, I really don't appreciate your sarcasm.
Noted.
Oh, whatever. Anyway, if you two divorced, that'd make it pretty awkward if you stuck around there, don't you think? Of course, I don't really care about what happens to you one way or the other, but I like the idea of you being forced out of the company. Then that way, not only can I say that I've taken your husband, but I'll have also left you completely jobless. Can you imagine? That would just be crazy. I think I might have really outdone myself here.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I think you might be a little mistaken there.
Whatever, I didn't ask. Just hurry up and divorce already, got it? I'll give you a week to figure it out. Hey, Ronnie, pick up the phone when I call you. Don't ignore me. Ronnie, I am serious. This isn't a joke. I can't seem to get a hold of Rick at all anymore. What is going on here? Do you know something? You have to tell me. I know that you know. Come on and tell me.
Oh, hello again, Helen. I'm really sorry for missing your calls.
As you should be. This is really serious.
I'm sure. I'm just still working and didn't have time to pick up. Now, what is this about not being able to reach Rick?
Well, that's just it. I don't know what happened. Don't tell me that you don't want him to divorce you so badly that you locked him up inside your house and are refusing to even let him go outside.
Wow, that was surprisingly spot on.
You are? Seriously?
No, of course not. But I'm pretty sure his parents told him to cut you off if he wants any chance at staying in their good graces.
Why is this becoming so much more difficult than I thought? And why won't you two just get divorced already? What were you even talking about when you said your divorce would affect the company? I mean, who are you anyways? You are probably a nobody there. Just another faceless worker that could be replaced at the snap of Rick's fingers.
Actually, I'm afraid that I'm rather irreplaceable for the time being.
Wow, you must really think that the universe revolves around you or something, huh?
Oh, by the way, Helen, you work at Sonic Industries, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. I've been there for about 6 months. But I don't see what this has to do with anything. I just want to quit so that I can marry Rick and be a trophy wife. What, did you stalk me a little or something?
So, then you know all about Titus Core.
Yeah, of course I do. You're talking about the company Rick runs, after all. Your soon-to-be former company.
So then you know that Sonic and Titus, as companies, work very closely together on a lot of projects, yes?
Yeah. This is all old news to me. But if you must know, it was all thanks to my job at Sonic that I was able to visit Titus and reconnect with Rick.
Oh, is that how it happened? Well, it does certainly match up with what Rick told me about how you two met.
Well, good. So then does that mean that you'll finally get divorced? Because the faster you do, the faster the two of us will be able to marry, and then I can finally just live in the lap of luxury.
Well, even though you seem to think you know a lot about Titus, I think you might be missing some key information.
What are you talking about? Information like what?
So you really have no idea what I'm talking about?
I really don't. I think you're just a sore loser.
Okay, then. I'll ask just to make sure. Who is the current CEO of Titus?
Well, it's Rick, of course.
I see. Is that your final answer?
What do you mean? Of course it is. He's the boss. It's the only answer.
I'm afraid that is incorrect. The CEO of Titus is in fact not Rick.
What are you talking about?
And since Titus is such a close partner of Sonic's, I recommend you learn this well.
You're crazy. Of course Rick is the CEO. You don't know what you're talking about. He's the son of the company's founder. When his dad stepped down, Rick took over. It's just that simple. You just don't want to give up your place as the wife of a CEO, huh? That is why you're trying to trick me with all these lies. God, that's just pathetic. You are a sad, sad person.
Well then, I'm afraid that the two of you are probably going to get fired then.
Keep dreaming. Ronnie, what is all this? What were you trying to talk to me about yesterday? What did you mean when you said that Rick wasn't the CEO of Titus? Because I checked their website and it says that you are the CEO. What kind of trick is this, huh? Did you edit the website or something?
Nothing like that at all, Helen. The website is correct. Well, I suppose it might be more accurate to say that Rick's father is still the one pulling the strings. There was one point where his father thought of passing along the company to Rick. The only reason he stepped down in the first place was because of health issues. He decided he could no longer handle much of the day-to-day of the company. But he still shows his face and makes appearances around the office or at corporate events.
But what about Rick taking over the company?
Well, his father based Rick's succession on if he demonstrated a readiness to take over. But since Rick never did show the keen judgment that his father was looking for, he felt uncomfortable handing off the reins to him. Instead, he opened up the position to internal hires and began to work with HR to look for the most appropriate candidates. On a whim, I submitted my application, hoping that my experience would shine through, and I guess it did.
But this can't be. I mean, you're only 35 years old.
That's fair. Most people are quite surprised by my age, but I was working under Rick's father as a director at his company. But when he left and started up his own company, he reached out and asked if I'd like to get in on the ground floor of his new project. So I've been an executive for Titus ever since the very start. That's actually when I first met Rick.
I can't believe this! I never knew any of this!
Well, that isn't all. I think we should talk about the way that you were treating me earlier.
What do you mean by that? This can't be happening. This is a nightmare. How did I end up getting fired? This doesn't make any sense.
Ah, I see you had a chance to talk to your boss, yes? If it is any consolation, Rick has also been let go of his position here at Titus.
What? But why? What do we do?
Oh, please, don't act like you couldn't see this coming. You two were billing your dates as business meetings between our two companies. Rick even charged some of your hotel rooms to the company, thinking no one would bother to check.
What? He did? I had no idea.
Funny, because your president told me you were doing the exact same thing. Or you would always take business trips as an opportunity to have an all-expenses-paid luxury vacation.
No, it isn't true. That isn't how it happened.
Don't bother lying. We have all of the receipts and we have dashcam video from the company car.
So then, you have video proof.
That's right. And now let me say something to you on a more personal note. You and Rick will be hearing from my lawyers regarding your affair.
You're going to sue me?
That's right. And since both you and Rick have lost your jobs, I'm afraid that you won't be able to call on him to help you pay for what you'll owe. You'll have to pay it all yourself.
No, you can't, please. I'm begging you. You have to show me a little pity. I don't have anything left. I don't even have a job. Forgive me. You can have Rick. I don't even want him anymore.
Well, that makes two of us, Helen.
You can't be serious about this, right? Please. I didn't even do anything wrong. How can you be so cruel?
Goodbye for now. You'll be hearing from my lawyers very soon. I'm sure of it. After Rick and I divorced, he ran off to live with Helen. But when he got there, she was in bed with another man, and it became a huge fight. But even after all that drama, Rick still didn't want to let go of Helen. But Helen no longer saw any value in Rick since he was fired and promptly kicked him to the curb. In an act of revenge, Rick found the wife of the other man Helen was seeing. Once again, Helen found herself the subject of a lawsuit for ruining yet another marriage. All the while, Rick continued to try and press marriage papers onto Helen. The two of them finally got married, if for no other reason than to ease their mutual financial burdens. Now the two of them share a tiny space and work hard to earn enough money to pay back what they owe.
Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.